Renin-Angiotensin-Aldosterone system is a hormone system within the body that is essential for regulation of blood pressure, right? So in this system, you find the following organs: the kidney, the liver, the lungs, posterior pituitary, suprarenal gland. Okay, right. So this is what happens when blood pressure is low, right? When perfusion in the kidney is low, this will trigger the release of an enzyme called renin. Right. So in the liver, there is a protein called angiotensinogen. Right. So when this angiotensinogen is cleaved by renin, it gives us angiotensin 1. Then angiotensin 1 will go to the lungs and it will be acted upon by angiotensin converting enzyme, or S. And this will give us angiotensin 2, right? So angiotensin 2 is very important because it has effects on blood vessels, on the posterior pituitary, and on the suprarenal gland, not forgetting the kidney, right? So it's called renin. We covered renin, right? Angiotensin, aldosterone, right? So the suprarenal gland is layers like zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, zona reticularis going inside. That's the cortex, and the medulla. Medulla will be responsible for releasing like catecholamines, right? So the outermost layer, the zona glomerulosa, releases aldosterone, right? So aldosterone will increase absorption of sodium, and as a rule, water always follows. So there will be water reabsorption. Water reabsorption will lead to increase in blood volume, thus increasing the blood pressure. Next, on the posterior pituitary, right? So the posterior pituitary is essential for storing hormones, two hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin, or ADH, right? So when the posterior pituitary is stimulated by angiotensin 2, it releases ADH, the antidiuretic hormone, or vasopressin. This hormone will cause like a synthesis of aquaporins in the kidney tubules for water reabsorption, right? So water will be reabsorbed back into the blood, increasing the blood volume and therefore increasing the blood pressure. On the blood vessels, angiotensin has receptors on the blood vessels, right? So it will stimulate smooth muscle contraction, which will lead to vasoconstriction, increasing the total peripheral resistance, increasing the blood pressure, right? So you know what else happens here in sodium reabsorption, right? So it's like opposite. When sodium is reabsorbed, potassium will be lost, right? So this system will lead to hypokalemia, right? So in the next video, we'll talk about drugs like S inhibitors, the drugs which inhibit this enzyme, and angiotensin receptor blockers. It will inhibit the angiotensin receptors in the blood vessels, in the posterior pituitary, and on the suprarenal gland. Right. There is another hormone, right? So this hormone is released like when blood pressure is high. This hormone is called atrial natriuretic peptide. It's released by the atria, because if the blood pressure is high, there will be stretching of atria, right? That hormone, its function is inhibiting everything that is being stimulated by angiotensin 2, right? So it's like an antagonist of angiotensin 2. So it will reduce all these effects, causing vasodilation and decrease in blood pressure. And concerning water volume, it will decrease water reabsorption, decreasing blood volume, thus decreasing blood pressure. So we'll talk more about this in the next video. Thank you so much.